I've been rescuing stray cats and dogs for many years. I've witnessed countless stories, some joyful, some heartbreaking, but one moment still lingers in my heart. It was the day I stumbled upon a cat family in the park. I was making my usual rounds when I saw a tiny figure curled up on the grass. A mother cat, with striped gray fur and tired eyes that still held a glimmer of strength. What startled me was the old iron chain still clinging to her neck. She must have just escaped from somewhere unsafe. As if sensing help, the clever cat dashed out, almost signaling for rescue. Tucked beneath her frail body were 3 tiny kittens. They nestled into her belly, sleeping from hunger and exhaustion. The mother cat looked cautious, hesitant, but there was hope in her eyes when she saw me. I said nothing, checked if the kittens were still alive, then gently sat down, tried to bond, and lifted her up carefully. I continued carefully examining each kitten. I gently touched their tiny legs, flipped over each paw to check for swelling, scratches, or signs of fractures. I gently touched their heads to feel for any unusual lumps, then examined their bellies, a common area for bloating, parasites, or internal issues. Fortunately, all 3 were fine, just a little thin and weak from lack of milk, but with no serious injuries. Then came the mother cat. I followed the same routine, stroking each leg to feel the muscles and joints. I checked her head and belly. That's when I noticed the area around her forehead more closely. She had a few small scratches right on top of her head, slightly extending above her right eye. She might have bumped into something hard or been attacked by another animal while protecting her kittens. I had a pouch of cat soup ready in my hand, but unlike most starving animals, she didn't rush to eat. She glanced at me, then at her kittens. I brought the soup closer to her mouth so she could eat more comfortably. Without hesitation, I opened my cat carrier, already lined with soft towels, and gently placed each kitten inside. The mother didn't resist. She gave me one final look, then quietly followed. No cries, no struggle. Just a silence that pulled at my heart. I gently took each kitten out of the carrier and carefully examined them for any unusual signs. I started with their ears, wiped off any dirt and checked for signs of infection or ear mites. Next were their eyes, slightly crusty, so I used a few drops of saline to clean them. I placed my hand on each kitten's chest, listened to their breathing and felt their heartbeat. Luckily, all 3 were fine, just a bit weak from hunger. Then I moved on to the mother cat. I gently placed her on a clean towel, started by checking her eyes for inflammation, then her ears for any foul smell, a possible sign of ear infection. I ran my hand down her spine and belly to see if there was any swelling, pain, or odd reaction. When I tilted her head slightly, I noticed a few old scratches on her forehead and around her eyes. I used warm gauze to clean the wounded area and carefully applied antibacterial ointment. Though she was likely still in pain, the mother cat didn't resist. Her eyes quietly followed me, almost as if to say thank you. I gave her some soft food to help her regain strength, then mixed milk powder and fed it to her drop by drop using a syringe. The kittens were fed the same way. The room was oddly silent, only the sound of soft suckling and warming bellies. Looking at them, I was overwhelmed by an indescribable emotion. In the mother cat's eyes, I saw trust. a trust that I wouldn't abandon them. And in that very moment, I knew I wouldn't send them away like before. I would keep them all. The mother and her 3 little ones. Today, they're all healthy, running around the house, playing like joyful children. Every time the mother cat rubs her head against my hand, I feel my heart soften. And I realize, sometimes, it's us who are truly saved by the tiny lives we choose to rescue. After all the examinations, cleaning, and care, I quietly sat and watched that little family in their new nest, lined with warm blankets, placed in the calmest corner of the room. The mother cat lay stretched out, breathing evenly, eyes gently closed. Perhaps for the first time in many days of fleeing, she finally felt truly safe. The 3 kittens nestled into her belly, occasionally stirring softly, as if their dreams, too, had grown gentler thanks to her embrace. I sat there, doing nothing, just watching. Yet each passing minute seemed to lighten my heart in a way I hadn't felt in a long time. That peace didn't come from silence, but from something deeper, the presence of motherhood, of life being carried on, of a family that had been kept whole. I realized that sometimes, the most precious thing we can do, is to give someone a place to belong. A safe place. A home, simple, but filled with love. And in that moment, I no longer felt like a rescuer. I was simply a small part of the quiet healing journey of these tiny souls. And perhaps, it wasn't just they who were saved, but I too was revived, in some way, by a love so simple and pure.